Look at that. I want one of those. Where do I shop? Oh, okay. Thank God they put the website on the screen. Now I know where to go. Ladies and gentlemen, dogs of all kinds. What's up? We're live. Hey. Tuesday afternoon, and we're back in the studio, Fright Club, because we're talking not just about Halloween Horror Nights, but if you guys didn't know, Stephanie had a competition this past weekend and destroyed a lot of dreams out there for a lot of people because she's moving on. I don't really know how it's called. She's going to, she qualified to go to nationals. There you go. Yeah. So Stephanie won in her competition, novice overall. Congratulations. And won in her class in the open. We're all proud of you. Go, Steph. Everybody in the chat, if we can, spam the chat. Right. Let's go, Steph. Oh my gosh. No, we don't need one of those again.
No, that's okay.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. You can spam it. Let's go, Steph. Proud of her. She did awesome this weekend. That was a lot of fun. We went to St. Pete. Really cool. I mean, we were when did we leave? Was it Thursday night? Or Thursday? Friday? What day did we leave?
Friday.
Yeah. So then the announcement happened and all. We're going to talk about that. Today's live stream, guys, we are just coming off of the so-called spooky week that we had that HHN announced for last week. So all the original houses for this year's Halloween Horror Nights 2025 in Orlando have been announced. We have them all. We got them. Sweet. We'll talk about that. At least the ones we didn't get to talk about. Because we did have a live stream last Tuesday, right? Was it last Tuesday?
Yes.
Or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
chat. When did we go live last? Yeah, we got like a streak of live streams going, which is kind of nice. We're finding some time in the schedule to get it going, which is really cool. We missed it. We're excited to do it. But yeah, so we'll talk about the houses we didn't get a chance to, because obviously we've been out of town. And on top of that, we know that Horrors Unleashed announced a Chicago location. We're going to discuss that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I did not have that on my bingo card. That threw me for a spin. On top of that, Midsummer Scream will have John Murdy and Mike Aiello out August 17th. Chat, confirm. Is it August 17th, right? Who can beat Steph? Steph is researching right now. Let's see, the delay in the chat, or will Steph get it right now?
Internet's going slow.
Great. Internet's crashing over here. Maybe. I think it's August 17th. Chad, I'm waiting for you. I think Steph might find it before the chat. I think I'm buffering on my end. This is going well. A lot of devices in use right now.
Yeah, 17th.
Okay, 17th. All right, so chat, you guys lose.
It's like the 15th.
Yeah, through the 17th, right? Yeah. And I think on the 17th is when they talk. So we'll talk about that a little bit and what we think that could be about. But in the meantime, earliest live stream that we started ahead of time, huh? This is unlike us. We just also we're packing up because we have to be leaving tomorrow morning to go to New Jersey for Steph's
Yeah, we have a
competition.
10 a.m. flight, so
Is it 10 or 10:30?
it's 10:30, but
10:30. I know 30 minutes is not big.
10:30 a.m. flight.
Thank you for being precise.
So we have to be up early-ish.
Yeah, I'll be up early-ish, earlier than I usually get up. But we'll be there this whole weekend, July 4th weekend. So hey, happy 4th of July to all of you guys. We're excited. We're excited for that. But I'm excited to be able to sit down and actually talk about this past week and all the original announcements because, I mean, personally, you and I haven't really had this discussion much.
No.
Just because we've been so wrapped up in what you've had this past weekend. So that's what we'll kind of focus on is really these original houses and then some other stuff that comes up on the radar. I will say this too, okay? We are watching Love Island. There is an episode coming out tonight. Comes out at 9 o'clock Eastern. It is 8:30, about almost 8:30 right now. So
We'll see how long this lasts.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. There's no promises. It's
I'm
going to be a long
also
one.
extremely tired. So if I'm not super talkative, I'm very tired.
Yeah, it's all the people who think I'm a drunk alcoholic and don't let you talk. She's tired. Promise. But yeah, so we'll probably... I'm going to say an hour-long live stream, but it might be less than that. We're just kind of hit the moments and stuff as we go.
This intro isn't half an hour, then yeah, maybe
Hey,
it will
we're
be an
still
hour.
ahead. It's 8:30 now, so we would have technically started the countdown now.
Okay.
So we're ahead of schedule. I mean, right now the live stream's been going on for 12 minutes. We're doing good. Anyways, I'm gonna let you take the floor. What do you think about the 5 original houses coming to this year's event?
I like them. There's not.
I thought you were
That's
gonna.
just that.
That'd have been perfect. We're done.
There's not really one that I'm like, I think all of them have good potential.
I agree. Yeah.
But I feel like that's how it is with all the originals. Like,
You mean every year, right?
yeah, every year. Because we just don't have a lot to go off of. So it's like, oh, that could be cool. But it also could not be.
Yeah, and I mean, in going into that, the fact that we really just don't know what the originals hold until we actually experience it. I think that's why that the originals build up more anticipation for me than the IPs do, just for the fact of like, it's one of those, like, I'm excited for it because I'm like, oh, I want to see what this is, especially these 5, like this lineup. We'll get into that in a second, but with originals, genuinely, they always have me more intrigued, just the fact that I don't know much. So I want to get in there and actually figure it out.
Yeah.
And we tend to enjoy the originals more than the IPs, especially of recent years too.
Yeah, and I also feel like I said, you don't always know what to expect. And even in recent years, there have been original houses where we're like, we're not really that excited for that one. And then it ends up being like one of our favorite houses. Like Darkest Deal, I think might have been at the bottom of our anticipation list.
Descendants of Destruction was another one too that comes to mind.
Yeah.
That was one. I'm gonna go back to HHN 30 and Puppet Theater was I might be wrong about this, but I remember not really caring so much about Puppet Theater when it was like being speculated. And then when we did that house, I feel like that's such an underrated house. It's not talked about enough, in my opinion, because there was a lot of energy with Puppet Theater and the set design was great. Everything about the house was really good. It's funny because like the originals that we have usually at the top of our most anticipated list swap with the originals at the bottom of our most anticipated list. It always usually flips.
That does tend to happen. So that's also why
Is it
I'm
our
not
fault?
like trying to look into them too much.
I
I'm
get
just
what you're
like, oh, that sounds cool. We also have I don't know what those are called. Is that a super chat
No.
or no?
This
A
okay, so
member chat?
Southridge Films. If you guys don't know them, then you're on the right track in life. It's doing pretty good. But yeah, they've been a member of the Fright Club for 25 months.
Crazy.
For them, they don't really know how long 25 months is. It's 2 years and a month. It's just so they know. However, it's funny that we're talking about originals over IPs. But they mentioned, they said they're watching Game of Thrones. So be proud of them. All right, we're proud of you.
You're like 15 years late, but
It's all right.
it's fine. Better late than never.
But speaking of Game of Thrones, like that is like one of the IPs that I'm like,
Brian really wants. Yeah.
really love to see that. I think
would
they
be
can do
cool.
it. Long name would be
But
perfect.
we are getting, I mean, the Galkn thing. I know it's not like
No,
the same.
no.
But that character for the artwork
Yeah.
for that is like a mix between like Garaka and like
Yeah.
a Nightwalker.
Night King,
Yeah.
like the White Walkers.
White Walker, sorry.
You mixed the Night
Yeah,
King
I
and the
mixed
White
them
Walker.
together. It's been
Honestly,
several years since I've
hold
watched
up.
that show.
Night Walker sounds pretty cool.
It
That's
does
like
sound
a
cool.
cool name, actually. I'm gonna take that for a project.
Okay. White Walker, sorry. It's been
Yeah.
a long time since I've watched Game of Thrones.
No, you're good. You're good. No need to apologize to people.
But yeah, that one I think might be my like the one I'm most excited for. There's a
Oh,
wolf
we're
on it.
already getting into it. But
There was a wolf on the artwork, so like obviously.
you get it on your forearm.
Yeah.
She's already prepared. This is how they got the inspiration for the house. Steph's forearm tattoo.
If there's not a wolf in that house, I will be very upset.
They will have.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, then there's an issue. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been in the house. But yeah, I mean, so let's talk about the houses, right?
Yeah.
So we have El Artista, Spanish Haunting. That was the first one announced back 2 Fridays ago. Spooky Empire. Then on Monday we got Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters. Really looking forward to that one. Super excited for that. That came from Slaughter Cinema 2. That was a portion in the house from last year's HHN here in Orlando. Tuesday we got nothing.
Nope.
They didn't give us anything. But then on Wednesday we got Dolls, Let's Play Dead. I think that's the full title. So Dolls, Let's Play Dead. That came out on Wednesday. On Thursday we got Grave of Flesh, which I'm curious about that one. Like, it could be really good, or I feel like it could be basic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree.
We'll see. We'll talk about them individually more. And then Friday we got Galkn, Monsters of the North, which I'm actually really excited for.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I personally get so excited for houses that are based in cold environments and temperatures, because if you guys have been to Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando, you know, for the majority of the season, I'd say about 90% of the season, maybe 80, it's hot. It's usually hot and humid. And when you go into one of the sound stages are usually pretty cold. Sometimes the tents could be cold as well. But for this house, it's specifically designed to be cold, obviously to be part of the atmosphere. So it's like, this is one of those houses that I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll do like right after Stay and Scream, when it just opens up, when it's still hot and sunny a little bit.
I always like the houses that are set in like the snow. Like, I just like the.
What about Yeti?
I liked Yeti.
Okay. You just think they're overused?
I think they are overused, but I did like. That wasn't Yukon. That was. Which one was that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That was-
Terror of the Yukon?
That was the snowy one.
Yeah.
The Campground Kills was the other one.
Oh, okay. I mean, I did like both of them. I do think that they were good houses. I'm like, okay, something else. Because they were based off of Slaughter Cinema, and I was like, I want to see other Slaughter Cinema things.
This is so off topic, but out of the Slaughter Cinema features from the first one, which one would you rather have gone with?
And
Then Yeti.
literally any of them.
Really?
The Yeti room was my least favorite room in that house.
Yeah, but would you say that the following houses were like that room?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it expanded off of it, but Campground Kills was more so like it than Yukon. But yeah, literally any of the other rooms I would have loved to see full houses of. I
Okay.
just feel like there's so much more variety to be had in some of those other themes than the Yeti one.
I respect that. I like that you hold
But
your
I-
ground.
But I did like the house.
Yeah. House was
I
fun.
do like the setting of snow. But yeah, not Dead Man's Spear.
No.
No, I like Dead Man's Spear too. I just don't like that. See, this is why
Should we do a live stream just about nautical
This
things?
is why I'm excited for the Galkn one, because it's a theme. What?
No, keep going.
It's a theme that I actually am interested in, but it's also based in the snow. Whereas like the other snow houses that we've had, I'm like, Yetis, nautical.
But if it's going based, I know it's like the Monsters of the North, but if we're following some Vikinger like style, do you think maybe we could be on the coastline have some nautical themes to it.
No. You think they would do
sure?
that close to Dead Man's Pier?
Well, it's not going to be the same style of like an English fisherman village. It's like, think of just like Vikings. I mean, they might
that's
have
different
some.
to me.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
I like Vikings.
Yeah, all right. Hey, oh, that's all you.
Vikings are brutal. And I like gory houses, so I'm anticipating it to be gory.
Okay. Here's if you guys are in our Discord, you guys remember before they announced all the originals, I gave you guys an order of originals from 1 to 5 and what I thought each one corresponded with in relations to just one word description. Actually, do you guys remember? I don't even remember what it was. Can somebody put it in the Discord because I'll read it off. But I think it was like OG1 was scary. OG2 was creepy. OG3 was beautiful. OG4 was questionable. And then OG5, I think, was oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. I need somebody to save me right now in the Discord chat. I said it was scary, creepy, beautiful. Oh, badass. Badass was the other one. That was like cool or badass, right? And so El Artista, I had marked as the scary house, right? I feel like that has potential to be scary. Then you had Hatchet and Chains. That was the badass house to me because I just feel like Hatchet and Chains. The one scene in Slaughter Cinema 2 was so cool to me. He's like, get over here, you know, with the demon all wrapped up in the chains. And Hatchet looks like a demon himself, you know, and then he's got, of course, the hatchet, but he looks like a demon too. And he's like fighting other demons. I'm like, that's cool. You know, it's almost like a Doomslayer kind of thing in a way, Western. And then I'm still seeing if anybody has got me, but I think I got the list right. Dolls, Let's Play Dead. I had that as creepy because dolls are creepy, period. Mm-hmm. Like just in general. Myuella, she had a room when all of us kids like stayed the night at Myella's house. She had a room that had like 45 dolls. That was terrible. There's nights we did not sleep. And then we had Galkn Monsters of the North. That is the beautiful house because I genuinely think, and I'll get into it here in a second, and then the other one, Grave of Fleshes, which is the questionable one for me. But Galkn, I want to know where this house is going to be located. I don't know if it's been announced or people speculated where it's at. I really hope there's a lot of good scale with it. I'd love to see like mountains and forests and things of that nature all snowing. I'd love to have snow constantly falling in the house. That'd be beautiful to see. And I just picture like a snowy ledge that one of the monsters, obviously from the artwork, is on top of the ledge with the wolf, like just watching you walk in. I'm like, that's what I'm picturing with this house. And I think it'd be so cool. I don't know how you can pull this off without going over budget, but it'd be so cool if they somehow can pull off doing like the Aurora Borealis in the sky. If they can somehow do an effect that looks like it. Maybe if they have like the snow falling and then they do like a fog to make it like clouds and you put lasers to move around and it looks like the Northern Lights, you know, moving through. I feel like that'd be such a cool effect to add in the house too, to give that sense like you're actually up in the north. That's what I'm really hoping for this house. I feel like this one could be beautiful, but I don't know. That's my take. That's what I think with Galkn.
Yeah, or projection.
Yeah, just projection, which I feel like. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for all of them. I think, like you said, I think what is it? Flesh one?
Grave of Flesh.
I think that one's probably my I don't want to say least anticipated, but I think it can go.
Okay, what is your ranking? 1 through 5 out of the originals. Where do you have them ranked in anticipation? And then what we'll do is, based on the ranking, let's talk about each individual house in a way. So we already talked a little bit about Galkn, but
okay, probably the Grave of Flesh
at your number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you. Grave of Flesh is my number 5. Why is it your number 5?
I think it could also, for the houses that were announced Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have not gotten to like look into them really deep or anything like that.
You and I both, yeah.
Because I've been extremely busy.
St. Pete flexing.
Yeah. And just like my brain is not in HHN right now. But just from what I have seen, like just like artwork and like kind of
just getting the vibe for it.
Yeah, just the vibe and like a little blurb. I think that this one is the most what?
Tyler Swanson. It's because he's in it. It's his least favorite.
No, I actually didn't know that you were in that one. I'm sorry. But
I'll give him credit. Sure. Yeah.
But I think it potentially could be the most generic.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Which I don't hate. Like I love like going back to like just scary stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. It could potentially be like.
I'm really hoping to kind of tag along with what you're kind of saying. I really hope this house is done cheaply. I want it to have the vibe kind of like, Graveyard Games-esque, right? Not the story, but certain scenes, like you're through graveyard, right? But I feel like this is going to be more than just being at a graveyard. I feel like there's more of like, obviously, going underground and like afterlife, right? I just don't know. I really don't know, because it can be very monotonous feeling in certain sections when you do graveyard type houses and scenery. It can be the same, right? It's the same atmosphere. But usually in the past years, we've actually ended up loving those styles and themes.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Graveyard Games 2019 we loved. Then they also had a scare zone, which was... Graveyard Deadly Unrest. Mm-hmm. Am I saying that right, though? I feel like Deadly Unrest doesn't sound correct.
No, it's correct.
Okay. Chat, help me out here, right? Help me. But yeah, I think Graveyard Deadly Unrest, we loved that scare zone and that vibe. But with this house, the one thing that actually is giving me excitement, hope, is the little character they have in the center, like bottom center. He's got like this little like mohawk looking thing.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a rocker in a way.
That's why it does not give me graveyard or graveyard games vibes at all.
I agree. Because it seems like it could be very aggressive. And my wondering is like, is this character like the main character, kind of how like I think it was called The Mother was in Graveyard Games? Is he going to be like the main one controlling like little minions? Are they all going to look the same, or do you have these different tiers of like different creatures that you kind of see?
Yeah, like if they go that route and it's more so like the first thing that comes to my mind is the kind of like catacomb underworld part of House of a Thousand Corpses. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like if it's like that, then it could be really cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Creepy. That house actually genuinely creeps me out. House of Thousand Corpses that was a good house. And I've never seen the film, but going through that house like guaranteed me that I probably will never see the film.
if it goes that vibe, then I think I might end up really, really liking it. I just think it doesn't have as much excitement for me right now because it is the most kind of generic, just scary graveyard zombie undead thing.
I'm just gonna jump in here real quick. Caleb Portman said Deadly Unrest was my first ever scare zone. Kind of spoiled with that one, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that's kind of a top tier scare zone to get spoiled with. It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I wonder what the whole vibe is, because I keep thinking back to how at Spooky Empire, the panel, they constantly said like the theme of this gothic conservatory, right, is going to be spread through the event. Are we going to see anything like that in this house? Maybe like in the facade,
maybe at the beginning,
or the
before you go
diving in.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see anything bled through with that. I wouldn't be opposed to it because I feel like you can have gothic themed like graveyards, but I don't know if the characters that I saw in the photo, the artwork we got, they don't give me that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's really going to be the style. But this one's at the bottom for me just because I have a lot more questions for this one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but like I said at the beginning of the live stream, the houses that we usually have at the bottom of our anticipation list
Always end up being your favorites.
usually do much better.
Yeah.
So you could see this list flipped, which I hope not because I'm excited for the top ones. We'll see.
I think
So number 4 then.
I think number 4
We're on the same page.
is probably the dolls.
Same page, yes.
Yeah. But again, like I'm also excited for this one. So it's hard to put anything at the bottom because like there's nothing that I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. Like
I mean, going with what you're saying, like this lineup, this ensemble of houses that we have for the originals seems very strong, which is why I think even the ones that are lower on your list, you're trying to say like, oh, it doesn't mean we're not excited.
Yeah.
But like genuinely these compared to like previous original houses that have been announced in the past few years, these stack at the top altogether compared to other ones.
So for the dolls, I think dolls can be really creepy. I think dolls can also end up being a little cheesy and not scary to me.
You don't get scared of anything. Just tough.
It's tough.
Here's the thing. So you've never gotten to experience actually you have. So Stephanie did not get to experience Dollhouse of the Damned in 2014. It was one of my first houses ever, Halloween Horror Nights. We'll talk about that in a second. The only house that I think you have experienced that was focused on dolls was Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. You weren't really a fan of that.
Yeah,
At
but
least
that's
here in
different.
Orlando. I know, but I'm just saying like in the doll category. And I remember when we were going into that year talking about Chucky, we both just weren't really like thrilled for it just because we're like, Chucky doesn't scare us because it's just like a doll, right?
Yeah.
Can be creepy, but Chucky's theme compared to Dollhouse of the Damned, like style and atmosphere, very different. Because Dollhouse of the Damned was like, it was creepy. Like that, the facade freaked me out. I genuinely remember walking up to that facade and seeing like the little heads and like the house kind of looking evil and walking by. I remember touching it too because I was like, I'm gonna touch it, but then obviously none happened. But I thought I was gonna get like possessed. That house freaked me out because I think one of the beginning scenes there was like these giant guys in diapers in cribs. And then I don't remember seeing anything else in the house because when I saw that, I was like, I don't want to know what's coming up next. And I think I looked straight down and followed the person in front of me. I just followed their footsteps and where they were going because I was genuinely freaked out of that. But I don't know if this house is going to follow that vibe.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the atmosphere of the house and like the soundtrack. I think that has that plays a big role. Especially, I guess it depends on like how they do the dolls. Like, I don't know.
Joey said, I used to run past my little sister's room when she had all her dolls lined up because it totally freaked him out. Yeah, that's how it was at my Wella's house when she had all the dolls. I'm like, I don't trust them.
Yeah, I feel like dolls can go either way. They can either be really creepy or they can be like kind of just like cheesy and not scary.
Like if they go like the Tooth Fairy route, I feel like that'd be a little too cute. Like if that makes sense. You get what I mean with like the narration on which I love Tooth Fairy. Just I really hope they kind of go Dollhouse of the Damned route. I don't know. It's like I'm wondering if we're gonna get a mixture between Dollhouse of the Damned and the Chucky Scare Zone that we had in 2018. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you guys where do you guys have Dolls Let's Play Dead on your anticipation list out of the 5? Where do you guys have them ranked? Because I agree with you, Steph. I think it's at 4 just because we'll see. I mean, I'm willing to even put Dolls at 5 and give Grave of Flesh 4, but those two are like right there. You can interchange them just because I don't know what to expect with both.
Yeah,
like truly.
I agree. I was trying to find the like descriptions to read off,
here.
but I can't find it.
Here, I got you. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Also, if you guys are just joining us right now in the live stream, what's up? How you guys doing? Missed you guys. Welcome to a Tuesday evening live stream. We started earlier than usual, just because we're leaving tomorrow morning to go to New Jersey because Steph's got a cool competition coming up we have to do.
Have to.
We have to because we have to dominate. Well, you got to do. I'm just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Ooh, good stuff. So yeah, now we're talking about, obviously, the originals. Here's the description for Dolls Let's Play Dead. You're about to become doll-sized and be hunted by toys that have been burnt, melded, and stitched together by a twisted little girl. Tickets are now on sale.
So it's literally like, what's his name from
Sid?
Toy Story? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Sid.
I hope we get that spider thing with the doll head. That's gave me
creepy.
nightmares when I was little.
That whole room, that whole scene in Toy Story.
That was creepy.
That was a little messed up. It was cool to find out that they were chill.
See, like if they do stuff like that, I think it'll be cool.
That could be creepy. My question though is, are we going to see this little girl involved too, where she's like making the toys? Because here's what I want to know: if we're being shrunk down to the size of toys, are they going to have this giant creepy girl? Like,
Yeah, is she gonna be like
gonna be
giant?
huge?
No, we probably won't see her.
that'd be cool. What if there's like a room that you enter in and they
it's
have a
just her
giant,
eye.
yeah, they have like a giant puppet hand that's coming down to grab you, and you have to walk by like both hands. You're walking by and the other toys are coming out. That would be creepy.
It's like Nemo.
Because she wants, yeah, like Darla, right? Because she wants to get you and meld you into one of these creepy toys. That could be cool.
That could be cool.
I doubt they would go that big with this house.
Yeah, Cassie said like Darla.
We're doing too
Yeah,
much.
just like that.
We're doing too much Disney references.
Yeah, so many
here.
Disney references.
We gotta-
But I think that one could be really cool, really creepy, or it could flop. We'll see.
yeah, I agree.
And then I think third place for me is probably Hatchet and Chains. I think Hatchet and Chains, then
Whoa. All right, do 3, 2, 1, and then I want us to go back to the houses.
I think
Hatchet,
Hatchet and
that's crazy.
Chains.
That's crazy.
Because we talked last week about how I think I'm more anticipating El Artista. I think that's still number 1 for me.
Okay, so Hatchet and Chains. What's number 2? Galkn?
Galkn.
And then Artista?
Mm-hmm. I just want like a gothic ghost house that is scary. I hope it's actually scary.
Yeah, see, it's funny because with ranking these 5 for me, it's like I have a first place and I have a second place, but I do not have third, fourth, or fifth. My second place is Dolls and Grave of Flesh. And my first place is El Artista
All the other
Hatchet.
ones.
and Galkn. Because depending on what mood I'm in, those could interchange.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's crazy. I will agree that I will put El Artista at number 1 just because of the description that we got.
Yeah.
And as much of the publicity around it, media that we got surrounding it, that gave it the slight edge over Galkn. Because Galkin's cool. It's cool. I think it's cool.
I think it'll be cool.
But Hatchet and Chains is like right there too. I
think those two kind of can flop back and forth or are tied for second for me because like I like Vikings. I think the whole Viking thing is really cool, but we did have a Viking scare zone a few years ago that I don't know, wasn't my favorite, but at the same time like it could be the setting. Like I think maybe the Vikings would be cooler in the the cold setting.
My worry, or not really my worry, my question is it's not focused on Vikings. The scare zone you're talking about, I think, is 2019 when we had it in Central Park. And it was just the Vikings themselves. But this is like the monsters from the Nordic
Even better.
region. Which, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm excited. So it's not really about the Vikings. But obviously, maybe the Vikings are the victims in this case or something. I don't know. Oh man, it's crazy
but also Hatchet and Chains, I think, could be really cool because I love like the Western theme. I think that could be, they could do a lot with that.
I mean, jumping on exactly that description that you're talking about, I feel like Hatchet and Chains and Galkn are the same exact house, just different themes, different regions of the world. We literally have the Wild West and the Vikings, like Vikingars and Drengars and stuff like that. Like, we have that going on. I got a question.
Yeah.
In history, real quick, chat. In history, didn't the Wild West, right? The Cowboys were around the same time period as the Vikings were too? Wasn't there a period of that? Am I off of my history? Because if so, I feel like those those could be like the same exact house. You just get like in the vibe as in energy, because you get the Cowboys and the Demons like, yeah, and then you get the Vikings. Ah.
I don't know. I really think they're going to go campy with
Hatchet
and Chains, and then I think Galkn will be more serious. So I think they're going to be pretty different.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for both of them. I don't know if I can pick one over the other.
Joey said Vikings as victims is interesting because you always see them as like much stronger than anything else, which could help emphasize the monsters even more.
Yeah.
And like their scare factor. Yeah, I'll put Hatchet and Chains at number 3. I'll put Galkn at number 2, and then I'll put Artista. And again, you could just flip a coin, whatever it lands on. I'll say sure, that's my number 1, because again, it's based on the description, how much was given. Artista had a lot more given to it, so I'll give it my number 1.
As far as the description and everything.
Yeah. Media coverage and all that, and then Galkn over Hatchet. I'm just excited for Galkn because again, it's like this cold theme, and I'm into the Nordic stuff, so like that'd be really cool.
I like monsters too.
And the monsters, yeah. We also had museum last year, and my favorite section was the Viking part where we were on the long ship, and it's like I'd love to see that on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
Out of the 5 original houses, so that's our anticipated list for them, the originals. But out of those 5 houses, which one do you think deserves a soundstage? If you had to put one of them in a soundstage to give them the biggest budget, the most space, which of those 5 would you give?
I think Artista, just because it's like a mansion. So I would like to see scale, like, in the mansion. But
how?
Definitely not Grave of Flesh. That can be claustrophobic and small.
One of the old sprung tents. I think Dolls and Grave of Flesh should be in the old sprung tents.
Those can both be like small, claustrophobic. I think they should be.
Yeah.
I would prefer they're not like open.
I will say this. I don't know if this has been talked about in the community. We know Jason Universe is going to be in the Fast and Furious location. I feel like Dolls should be there. I feel like Dolls would fit so much better there because it feels...
Back in the Chucky spot.
Yeah, back to the Chucky spot. But, I mean, we had Major Suites there last year. That was well done with, like, the coloring, the lighting, and all that. I feel like Dolls could fit that vibe, but it also gives that manufactured feeling in a way. And, like, you know, toys are manufactured. I feel like it'd be a good place for it. And I feel like Jason Universe would do well in at least one of the older sprung tents. That's my feeling. Just because, like, it's supposed... I don't know. That's my vibe. But
nothing should be there.
My question is this: it'd be so cool if like Universal was allowed to do this, where they were able to build a multi-story haunted house, and Artista being it because it's a mansion, multi-storied, where we actually go upstairs, maybe even into the attic, and
that would be a whole.
Oh, that's the whole liability thing. Like,
well, it also has to be like accessible. And
that's what I mean, like just safety, liability, people going up. Getting scared, dark areas, yeah. Like,
I want to walk into Artista and have it be kind of like the first room of the queue of Monsters Unchained. Where it's like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like the big, like, winding staircase.
Oh my gosh. You're talking about the ride. I'm thinking of like haunted houses. I'm like, what?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, when you're inside.
Like the facade.
I truly like, and to be honest, like we've talked about this before, I think last week on the live. I really wanted to just literally be Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
If you just keep Haunting of Hill House the way it was and just slap the name El Artista above it, I'll take it. Like, because to me, that also fits the style a little bit, the vibe, the atmosphere. I mean, we did have Ghost Nelly projected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could work. Yeah, I mean, I think your list is pretty much where my list would be too. Again, Grave of Flesh, dolls, they can flip. And then El Artista, Galkn, and then Hatchet and Chains, they can flip too, just depending on the mood I'm in.
Same.
Good game. Very well done. Proud of you.
Cool. I was going to do a poll, but it will only let me do 4 options.
We're on the same page then, because I was going to ask the chat to list it. We can just tell them just to list it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and list your ranking.
Yeah, so chat, in the chat where you guys live, you fester and crawl around, go ahead and write down in the chat what is your anticipation list. What's your most anticipated out of the 5 originals? So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and guess what? Number 5.
Good job.
Thanks. Love that you're being nice and mean at the same time. So yeah, so go ahead and write it in the chat. I want to see what you guys think. Where do you have the originals? Just the originals. Don't even worry about the IPs. Where do you guys have those? And here we go. They're coming in. We have Artista for Joey. Artista, Galkn, Hatchet, Grave, Dolls. I can vibe with that.
Yeah, they're like all basically the same, except for
Justin has Grave over
like
Hatchet.
The last 3.
Artista. Oh, Jay also has Grave over Hatchet. Cassie, Artista, Galkn, Hatchet, Grave, Dolls. Yeah. I see Dolls at 5 for a lot of people, which makes me want to root for Dolls. I want Dolls to surprise us all.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely don't think any of these original houses are going to be like upsetting. Grave of Flesh is the one that I'm like, I want to see it. I can't really.
See, it's one of those where like it gives me the same vibe of where it is kind of like your like more traditional like formulaic haunted house where
Yeah.
hear me out. I feel like it could go either way where it's kind of like Scarecrow the Reaping where everybody loves it, or it could be more like Hive where it's another kind of just like not basic, but basic theme. Like it doesn't have this elaborate story that's like super original behind it.
Yeah.
And then people are like not the biggest fan. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier in the live, where I really do hope that Grave of Flesh kind of follows a very simplistic mindset. But you know what else too? Grave of Flesh, just because of that creature in the front, it kind of reminds me too of Slaughter Cinema 2, the Heavy Metal Hell 3D. Just that vibe too, the music, just because of the looking of the character or the look of the character. But I don't think that's obviously going to be in the house. That's why I'm getting a lot of different reads on it just based on the artwork. Let me read the description for that.
Also, this is an interesting comment. Jay said, I still think Dolls will be good, but I just wish it was a different year since FNAF will be at the event. Which is interesting because it's like, yeah, you do kind of get
good point.
Like animatronics and dolls.
Good point.
Similar. We have Hatchet and Chains and Fallout with the ghoul.
Good point. I get that thought, that mindset, but again, like, which direction is Dolls going to go?
Yeah, we don't know.
Because if it's lighter, campier, then yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it could really. I feel like it's gonna be creepy, like period. I'm looking at the artwork for Grave of Flesh, right? So here's the artwork for you, right? It looks dark. It looks high energy, which again, like I'm excited for. And I love the artwork for this character, but he looks very much like a heavy metal rocker kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting that energy vibe. But here's a description for Grave of Flesh. Welcome to your funeral, where things are about to go from bad to worse. You'll enter your grave and then the underworld. So we're not really going to spend time on or in a graveyard. That'll probably be the entrance where we get that maybe gothic graveyard like, but then we're going through. We're flesh eaters. So it's the name of,
that thing.
The things. Yeah. Who feed on the dead will hunt you for all eternity. Tickets are now on sale. Go buy your ticket.
They remind me of, there was this movie, I forget what it was called. There was this movie back in like the early 2000s, 2010s, where there were these little things that lived under like the stairs, and they were really creepy looking, and they look kind of like the artwork on that, and that's what they remind me of.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Someone will know what I'm talking about, hopefully.
Yeah, but somebody put it in the chat.
I don't remember what the movie was called.
I'm going through y'all's rankings right now in the chat, and I'm noticing some people also have Galkn as number 1. Caleb, Galkn number 1. Living My Truth, Galkn number 1. Shanabel, hey, Galkn number 1. Got a couple of Galkns for number 1. I genuinely am excited for Galkn. I think that'll be very well. I know you said El Artista would be your soundstage house. I genuinely would want to give it to Galkn.
Yeah, I think one of those two. I think those are the two that I would choose between.
However, Hatchet and Chains would also be a magnificent soundstage house. Like, imagine if they legit built in the soundstage, it was like an old Western town, and you saw people like the conga line, right, going through the town, through the saloon, through the actual street, the little main street, whatever, going through different buildings and stuff like that. That could be kind of cool. Have a little what are those, the little tumbleweeds going through the town and stuff, and like seeing like a full town. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would take Galkn though.
I don't know. I honestly feel like the houses that I end up liking the most don't really have a lot of scale to them. Because when you have so much room, like I don't get...
Which house?
Like just the houses that I end up enjoying the most, like don't have a lot of scale to them, because I get more scared in the more claustrophobic, like tight space sort of houses.
Yeah.
So my favorite houses always end up, I like the ones that have scale because I'm like, oh, that's really cool, or that's really, really pretty. But they never end up being my favorites because they don't scare me.
No, it's funny because genuinely, like, the one that comes to mind is Dead Man's Pier, right? Love the house. Beautiful. But I do think genuinely of that scene in Dead Man's Pier when you see the violinist, right, on top of the boat, the edge of the boat there, and you're walking into the ship that's ahead of you, the boat, ship, whatever it is. And like, although it is a beautiful scene, besides that, there is nothing really happening. And then one that comes to mind just off the rip, thinking of Descendants of Destruction, were like very opposite sets of houses, because with Dead Man's Pier, you have all this space. You have a lot of the, we'll just say space. My brain right now is fried. You have a lot of space to do all these things, and it is beautiful and it's nice. And then Descendants of Destruction has zero space. Everything is tight quarters, And I feel like I always, to your point, those houses that feel like they're very like claustrophobic, they're very on top of you, the scares feel more energetic because they are right there. They're more aggressive, and the energy flows better.
I mean, like Insidious, Darkest Steel, Puppet Theater, like all of those were like tight. House of a Thousand Corpses, they're all like very tight. And I feel like those always just like, they scare me more. I feel more uncomfortable. And then houses like Dead Man's Pier, like you said, like those open space rooms like I feel comfortable. Like I'm not like something's gonna like touch me, because you're just like there's just so much space. And it's the same with like I think of in Blood Moon.
Yeah.
The room with like the town where they have the little pole
Little kids,
thingy.
yeah, going around.
Like that room is really cool looking, but did I ever get scared one time in that room? Like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. I get that. I feel like a balance of it is great to have, which at an event like Halloween Horror Nights, it's great because you can have a house that does such and then the rest do others.
I don't know. I'm still like, I think I'm also still just like a haunted house purist where I'm like,
yeah,
I'm going to get scared. Like that's why I'm there.
Yeah. I'm gonna highlight everything you're saying in something that I wanted to say earlier. The houses that have all that scale, right? I'm losing the name of the house. Dead Man's Pier. I was thinking of Wharfman. New house coming. Dead Man's Pier, right? Has all this scale, all this size. And the problem with that is because it is just focused on the scenery, you're always looking for all these little details. Whereas in a house like Descendants of Destruction, where it's so on top of you, you're not really needing to look at the details and stuff because everything's on top of you. You feel like you're in the detail, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very weird description for it, but it feels like everything's on top of you, so you don't need to look around and take it in because you are in it in a way, and then the scares are just happening on top of you. When you have those large scale houses, which I do love, I really do love. I think, again, this is why Horror Nights is one of the best events there is, because you can have a house that focuses on that and then have 5 others that are like claustrophobic, really scary. You can get a good balance out of it. Not every house has to hit everything. But when you have a house like Dead Man's Pier, where it is so large in scale, it does feel like you get to certain scenes where I'm like, I feel like I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but
what I like is when the facade is grand and has a lot of scale and is very open, and that's it. Like no other
maybe
room.
one more scene. I like one more scene in the middle of the house.
Maybe like the last scene. I don't like it being in the middle because then I don't want like that break. Like really? I want the whole house to feel like
again though, and it depends on how they create it. I like having one more scene besides the I agree with you on the facade. First of all, I think the facade, I love when you get that moment when you're at a soundstage and you go in and you see it and you're like, holy smokes. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's the one thing about like Chupacabra that kind of like bothered me. It's like it was good, but it didn't have that huge scale until you kind of got into it. But I do think having a scene later in the house, middle or towards the end, that is grand. As long as like there's 10 scare actors coming at you, it's cool.
So the house that I think did this the best, at least the way that I prefer it, is that I can remember off the top of my head is Icons, because the facade was, I mean, it wasn't like the most grand facade we've seen. It was still big though.
It was very open.
A big open facade that's pretty cool looking. And then pretty much the rest of the house was not like that. It was more like closed, like close to you, closed off, very close quarters. And then the very final scene was a bigger set with like more scale.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that.
The ending. I liked how like it was that big hallway going up to whoever's crowned, and you still had them
because you end with like, oh, that's cool, but you don't have at any point throughout the house where like you're just walking through and you're like, oh, that's cool. But I'm like,
I will agree. I will take that formula of the very beginning, the facade of the house being that grand surprise, and then the last scene being something grand too, where you finish on those like whoa moments, but everything else is just the scares getting you going. Because then, of course, like a movie, like anything else, you have the beginning, you have the end. You want to start big and you want to finish big. You can do that. So yeah, I respect that.
That's my ideal setup.
Icons was such a good house. That's cool you bring that up.
It was a good house.
It was good. I still think they need to have a year an anniversary year and we repeat. I know.
We just redo.
I know
31.
people in Hollywood are very triggered by this, by repeating houses. I totally respect that. But it'd be cool to have a repeating year coming up, like an anniversary year that brings back beloved originals.
I thought you were going to say we just redo 31 without the plexiglass.
Talking about 30.
30.
2021. H 30.
Yeah, 30.
Okay. Maybe we do this like another live stream for our countdown to HHN series. But HHN 30 redone without the plexiglass and then get rid of Tooth Fairy?
Tooth Fairy could have been good without the plexiglass, though.
Yeah, but get rid of it and instead put something like Darkest Steel in its place. Like, give us like a better house that we had along the line, right? And put it in there.
Maybe. I think Tooth Fairy could have been really cool if they didn't have the plexiglass and they didn't have to do that same mask for every Tooth Fairy.
I agree.
I think if they could have had like prosthetics and stuff, it could have been really cool.
The one scene that first of all, the house was cool. I liked the design. The one scene that I thought could have been really scary was when they had the white cloth
I like
fabrics.
That. But then they had the plastic.
And we only ever had like one scare actor in that entire section every time we went through.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
should we
end the live? It's already an hour.
I was going to say, should we get to the
Yes, let's move on.
Other topics?
So this past week, we had the rest of the originals that were announced for Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando. We're super excited for the originals. That's what was announced. We were super excited for them. I do, before we do move on, I want to bring up one more little topic of discussion, and we can keep this very quick. Why is it that we're excited for this lineup of originals compared to past years? Because we don't know much about these originals. Let's be real. We don't know much. But why is it that everybody, and this is a question for you guys too in the chat, why is it that everybody in the community, including ourselves, are like, this year's original lineup is so solid. This is going to be so good. We haven't gone through the house. What makes us so excited for it? Is it because the past years have not really hit so much that we're like, we have hope and faith that this is going to be the year that's good, and people are talking internally wise are talking good about it? Is that why? Is it because of the themes and the artwork? Like, what is it exactly that's making us go, man, this year's the originals are going to be so solid? We haven't seen them yet. But what is giving us that vibe? Because this was something I was thinking of earlier where I caught myself just being like, man, I'm excited for this year's HHN, but I'm excited for the originals. What makes me feel that way? Because you feel the same way, right? And to the community, I'll look at the chat. I'll actually read it. I just want to see what you guys think, because like the theme team, they said because last year was kind of which right, but then again, like last year had original houses that were really good too.
I don't know. I feel like I was excited for the originals last year too. I don't think I was like not excited for them. I think we were a little disappointed about how they were announced. And I think
still disappointed.
Well, I think this year we knew it was going to happen this way. So it wasn't like,
okay, but
really?
Is that the reason why we're more excited? Because we knew this was the template they were going to go with?
Maybe.
Since they've already kind of desensitized us to lesser things in a way, as far as the off season goes, are we now like, okay, this is the normal, so when it happens, we're like, oh, we're looking forward to this because this is the new norm?
Yeah, maybe.
That is so disappointing if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
It really bums me out.
Yep.
Let's see what else everyone says. Jay said the concept seems good and well thought out compared to triplets of last year. See, again, triplets though I was excited for. The artwork for it really like had me questionable, and then everybody else was saying with the artwork. Because I know you were looking forward to triplets.
I was looking forward to it.
I obviously, when I was with the Discover Universal podcast last year, doing all the HHN stuff, I had the honor of getting the stories given to me way in advance. And the one thing that was like talked about internally with this one was like, this one's going to be like gory, right? So I was like, dang. And the stuff that I was hearing, I was like, man, like this house is going to be pretty cool,
I don't think that house was perfect, but there were some rooms that I liked. I thought it was a pretty good house.
going back to what I was saying, though, is when the announcement happened for it and the artwork came out, I was kind of like, It brought it down for me compared to the
Maybe
description.
that's why you're more excited this year.
Because of the artwork?
Because you didn't have like all these expectations before the announcements even came out.
Oh, because Universal's throwing us away. Maybe. You might be right. You might be onto something. Possibly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I genuinely I look at this and you give me the past. Let's go back to HHN 30. You give me those lineups of each year and their original haunted houses all together. For some reason, this is the year that I'm like, oh, I would look at this and say that's the year I want to attend with originals.
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way.
Really? I feel like El Artista to me sounds cool, looks cool. Hatchet and Chains to me sounds and looks cool. Like the artwork was so cool. Galkn looks cool, sounds cool.
I think I felt exactly like this for the past 5 years about all the originals.
I don't know. I think
literally the only one that I wasn't like, oh, that sounds like really cool, I'm really excited for that, was Darkest Steel. And that was like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think we have gotten to a point where we are like, we could expect anything from any of them.
Maybe. I want to see what else everyone's saying. Let's see. Javier said Mike Aiello back. That is exciting. Shanna said artwork this year is much better for the houses. I agree.
Yeah, I think knowing the theme, Stanley. I think knowing the theme of the conservatory helps add hype to like the originals.
Yeah, I think the overall theme, has me excited too. Just like in general, I remember before any information was given for this year, I was like, man, there's something about this year. Maybe that's like the toxic Halloween Horror Nights fan mindset where, like,
this is going to be the year.
This is going to be the year kind of thing. I'm still chasing that Halloween Horror Nights 28, 29 high that I had when those years were out. 30 was kind of it, but because of like the whole COVID situation, it was just not Horror Nights fully. Mm-hmm. And then 31 was really cool, it was cool, but it wasn't 28, 29. 32 was cool, wasn't 28, 29. 33 wasn't 28, 29, right?
I think Caleb might be onto something too. He said, I wonder if it has anything to do with getting the announcements so late. We're just happy for anything.
Potentially, but don't let Horror Nights know that is the case, because it's not. We're not happy with that, right? We can all agree could be better. It's not hard. It's not. These companies, guys.
Anyway, we got another announcement this week that was shocking.
Sorry if that segment wasn't short enough.
Never
I was just curious. Like, it was something I wanted to know. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, we got another announcement that was kind of shocking. So apparently we are getting another, before the first one even opens, we're getting another Horror Unleashed in Chicago. Chicago.
How do you guys feel about that? I know the internet was talking about this, talking about that. What do you guys think?
I think it's an interesting choice to do it before they even see if the Vegas one is successful. I think it's interesting, but it is exciting. It's more Horror Nights, technically.
I'm gonna try to find the announcement itself.
Yeah, it's also interesting that they chose to announce this so early.
The one thing that actually kind of bothers me is the fact that we had Monday through Friday, 5 days of the week, only 4 original houses that we knew were going to be announced. So one day was going to be left out. That Tuesday could have been a Horrors Unleashed announcement for Chicago. It could have been done on Tuesday, in my opinion, because then that whole day would have been talking about that announcement instead of pairing it up on Thursday with Grave of Flesh, I think it was, or whatever, because it kind of overshadowed each other. But I mean, here's the description. This is just from the Instagram page with the Horrors Unleashed announcement. It says, we're expanding our universe to the Midwest with a brand new location of Horror Unleashed in Chicago, our first destination in the region. From spine-tingling scares to jaw-dropping creativity, we're bringing the full force of horror and thrills to a whole new audience in a whole new place. Get ready. Chicago. Chicago. First of all, the artwork looks cool. I'm not going to lie. Artwork looks cool.
Can I see it?
But it is, yeah.
I forget.
Yeah. Artwork's cool. I like it. But it is interesting the fact that we are literally just a month away from Horror Unleashed Vegas opening up, and they're announcing they're doing the Chicago one. Now, I know a lot of people online were saying, hey, like, I don't think it's a good idea they did this because they don't know how successful the first one's going to be. But if they're already planning to do this, they're going to do it. You know, they're going to announce it. They're going to go forth with it. Universal's also riding this wave of major expansion, too. It seems like the company's expanding. And I feel like their focus is like, okay, where is... You guys know the competitor I'm talking about, but where's other competitors not really focusing on? Let's put a location in Texas. Let's put a location in Vegas. Let's put one in Chicago. Let's do one in the UK. They're really trying to expand in regions that don't have major theme park influence right now. So...
I think it's smart.
Yeah, it could be. It's a risky investment, but just looking at the announcement itself, I genuinely hope that Horrors Unleashed in Vegas is a huge success. I really do. If you guys are a fan of Horror Nights, you want these things to succeed because it's going to help the other events.
I think Vegas makes so much sense.
Yes.
I think that is a place where people go and want crazy things to do.
Yes.
I don't know that Chicago is necessarily that way. I think people do go to Chicago for tourism, but I think they tend to have like a reason to be there.
So I want to say this.
Not just like, oh, I want to go to Chicago.
I want to say this. I had over 10 individuals message me on Instagram when this was announced who live in the Chicago region that said
yeah, they're going to be excited.
That said that they are super excited. They told me too that their friends, families who go to Horror Nights who like horror are super excited for this because Chicago's in the Midwest. Midwest region of the United States has some really good haunts. They're known for some good haunts out there, for the weather, for this. So it's a great location for something of such nature.
But it's going to be year-round, correct?
Yes, which is a very questionable part. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I could see it doing well in the fall and no other time.
I don't know. I'm excited for it because I do think it'd be cool. I just, as far as like how it's going to do, I don't think it's up to us to say how we think it's going to do. The company would not do something if they did. Well, I mean, I'm just going to take that back. Never mind. The company might still do things that will be successful.
Probably have some market research and they have numbers to back it up. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I really do hope the Vegas one is a success. And then leading into Chicago, I'm actually like just interested to see what they're going to do in Chicago. We're getting different houses. Which houses we're getting? Like, how's it going to all play?
They have to do different ones. Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. Budget reasons. I don't know. We've done our market research and we found out that Chucky Ultimate Kill Count was the #1 house voted by people in the Midwest. So we're going to do Chucky Kill Count.
Would it really be that much like money saving to do the same house in Vegas and Chicago than just do like a different house in Chicago?
I'm not even saying like having a Vegas replica. I'm talking about just like houses we've had in the past. Like,
oh yeah, we'll have the same houses we've had in the past. They'll do it like Vegas.
Love if they had. Here's my thing. I'm okay with them bringing like houses from the past because they're not gonna be the same house, right? They're adding stuff. They're a little bit bigger. I would love if they did an original house in these locations that were based on the story of the location itself. So it gave you a reason to go there and do its own house based on the story that you're going. You have seems like a cool idea. What you got?
Well, I don't know. It could be iffy because it is a real story. So like, I don't know if you want to do that.
Shoot away, do it.
But there is a story from Chicago that I think he might have been like the first serial killer in the U.S.
Oh, I know what you're
And
talking about. Yeah.
It was like he had like a haunted house.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be like
That would be kind of
glorifying him in a way, right?
That is true, but they have tours in Chicago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Of like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Should they go like really meta with that?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I thought about it and I'm like, no, maybe not.
You know what? I like your idea because I like how risky you're going with this.
No, because I've said before I don't like basing it off of real events. I think that's
I like the
not
thought.
in good taste.
Don't leave me hanging. Jeez. I also got to bring this up too in the chat. Valoria Nichols, been a member of the Fright Club for 25 months. She said, I just wanted to say I'm happy to be here and I missed you guys. Also, congratulations, Steph, on taking home the novice overall.
Thank you.
We have the most exciting high fives you can ever see in a couple.
It's always like this.
Just high, thrilling.
He goes to give me a high five
Like,
and I go.
Just very fully energetic. It's amazing. Gloria, thank you, by the way. Fright Club member.
Yeah, they could do like a gangster
Yeah.
I was gonna say Whitey Bulger, but is that Chicago or was that on the East Coast? I don't remember.
Mm.
But yeah, they could do something like that. Like make it Chicago.
Yeah, make it
themed.
Chicago. Make something Vegas. Which could be like an Area 51 vibe, like very sci-fi original, like
or even
invasion.
like Lady Luck. Why isn't she
Lady
part
Luck
of Vegas?
I don't know why I never thought of that, but holy smokes. Yeah, give her a permanent home there. But they have Jack and Chance over there. I felt like Lady Luck would be a better fit.
Jack and Chance do kind of.
Okay,
it's like circus.
Yeah, well, their story for Vegas is really cool. I don't think I can say it because of NDA, but Vegas's like story and stuff is really neat. So, excuse me, here goes the heartburn. So I do think that Chicago is going to have a cool story too, but I'm interested to see what it is because again, I'm gonna real quick. So Steph here, right? Look at this picture. See that? Hold. Why is this not working? There we go, right here. And then, where's the photo? I'm so sorry. This is not working like I thought it was going to work. I wanted to show like the, no. Okay, it's like this vibe. You see the coloration though. So like Vegas is like the reds, right?
Yeah.
And then Chicago has the blue.
Like the blue.
That was terrible. None of it was working. That made me so agitated. God.
I'm glad they got to see it because this is just her life.
Let's finish that sentence. The tire has got a screw in it. Oh.
Goodness.
Anyways, I'm excited for Chicago. I hope it's a success. Again, I was surprised that we had that announcement because that was not something I was thinking of seeing just for the fact that we were waiting for Vegas, which opens next month.
Yeah.
Speaking of next month, Halloween Horror Nights
Is next month?
starts next month here in Orlando. And on top of that,
The
we
very
have
end of it, but still.
Yeah. John Murdy and Mike Aiello are getting together for Midsummer Scream August 17th. What do you guys think is being discussed at Midsummer Scream? Because I've seen a lot of people say, oh, maybe we're going to get a Dual Coast IP announcement with them.
Maybe.
But that's so close to the event.
Maybe that's where they will officially release what this Five Nights at Freddy's thing is.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think that is so close to the event?
It is.
Again, we do have Five Nights at Freddy's technically already announced to a scale. So this could work because everybody knows it's going to be at the event. So that could work.
That's what I mean is like, it's already announced. So.
And the reason why they're like, wait, because it's going to be much more. In other words, it's just going to be done at a panel.
I hope
could be
not.
a way. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Yeah, people saying Five Nights.
I hope it's not just like Terrifier. Because then it's like we are waiting until like the week before to announce that.
Here's what I'm going to say. again, if they were to announce on this day, I just feel like it is so close to the actual opening day for us here in Orlando. I mean, it's within like 2 weeks, right? It's like 2 weeks away. Because it is so close together, my question is, if they are doing Five Nights at Freddy's, let's say they are announcing it at this panel, when is the last announcement before that going to be done? Because if it's like late July or very early August, technically that is our last announcement, because we know Five Nights is coming to the event. And so we won't be surprised by them waiting till that day, because we're like, we know we're getting Five Nights.
I feel like it has to be that, because if you wait until, so they're going to wait until then, the 17th, to announce another IP, and then
I'm not even saying that they have to announce something,
maybe they don't announce anything, but if they are announcing something, then we wait that long, and like the house shirts are not going to come out until like a week and a half before their opening night.
I mean, what if, this is just a wild thought, but what if they're announcing the first house for next year? Or the theme for next year?
Maybe.
It's the first time that Orlando and Hollywood's stories are going to connect, where Jack is on both coasts. And then, what is it, Harry the Clown, or Larry? What's the, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for the West
Larry
Coast
the
folks.
Clown.
What is the name of the clown that you guys have out there that was part of the Terror Tram and stuff? What's the name of him? But maybe we get like...
Wasn't it Harry? It was like Hollywood.
That's what I said, Harry the Clown.
I thought you said Larry.
He was the second one I brought up. That's the cousin of Harry. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool. But again, I don't think that's gonna happen, obviously, because that's way too early. Theme team said HHN UK. I will be the first person to say that I know our UK people won't be happy with me saying this, but HHN UK will hurt HHN. It rains a lot in UK, right? However, a lot of people from the UK come to HHN Orlando. A lot of people. If they put HHN in the UK, how much people are going to be taken away from HHN Orlando? Maybe it's a good idea,
still
because
choose to come, but
yeah, no.
If they don't, then that's fine.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be fine, but by doing a decision like that, they will have to run some big numbers, in my opinion.
They're still gonna make the money. It's just, do they make it there, or do they make it here?
Well, hear me out. Who here is going to want to go to the UK for HHN compared to here?
I mean, we would love to go to Singapore.
I mean, yeah. Like, I genuinely would love to go to all of them. I'd love to go to every single thing I can in the world, but, money's a thing, and that does not work
That's what I
very
mean,
well.
is like, if they just have one there, then they can go to that one.
Yeah.
We can go to this one, and then...
You guys can stay where you're from.
Well,
We are staying
no,
where
I'm
we
just
live.
saying, because then we don't have everybody across the entire world going to
True.
one location.
I agree. However, wouldn't you still agree that Orlando would be considered to be the prime location for Halloween Horror Nights still? Even if UK opens up.
Maybe.
And that's why I do wonder how many people here. Obviously, if they did an HH in UK, I'm pretty sure 80% of the content creators here are going to book a ticket and go experience that. But just like the general audience in the United States, I still feel like would pick the domestic parks
I do think
over international.
I do think a lot of people would still choose to come to Orlando. However, it gives people who maybe can't afford to come to Orlando every year the option to still go to HHN every year.
Well, I'll say Universal and their prices lately have been it's been a little wild.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people from the UK that come to HHN like once every 5 years when there's a good lineup, that the other 5 years or the other 4 years of that 5-year span, they don't give any money to HHN, but now they will.
Here's another thing to keep in mind too. Caleb brought this up, saying it depends on the IP lands if they can have HHN, and that is an issue
that's
that
true.
I know a lot of people were like, when Epic was being built, everyone's like,
there's
oh, we're
no
gonna
way.
get HHN over there. And
No
I don't know
shot.
why people were talking about that, because we both were like, why do people think this when it's all IP themed lands?
No shot.
They won't even give us our scare zone back in locations in Orlando.
Literally the only place they could do it is Celestial and Dark Universe.
Technically,
And maybe-
Celestial's an original IP, so maybe not.
What do you mean?
Because the great thing about, and this, Mike Aiello brought this up in the Spooky Empire panel, where he's like, what's so great about Universal and why Horror Nights will always be home there is because you have like New York, it's general location, San Francisco, Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true. I
where
guess
Celestial is a themed, storied environment. Why would they be like, for these random nights, we're bringing scary stuff to you? Like,
but you have the Volcano Bay thing in there. Like, the story could be like, oh, the Celestial people love Universal so much they wanted to bring HHN over.
yeah, I agree. But to me, I feel like Epic would be much better for a family-themed Halloween event where they can make it family-themed versus Horror Nights.
Oh, for sure.
But anyways, we're getting away from the point of, I doubt if like UK has these IP-themed lands, they would ever do HHN there. Unless across the seas at the other HHNs, Singapore and such, it's not like the entire park like Universal is. They could do something in the UK where they have set locations, tents or whatever, that are accessed backstage to host such event where you guys get like 4 to 5 houses maybe. It's a smaller event of such nature, but you still can have a taste of it.
Yeah. I mean, think of it as like if HHN was only happened in the UK, but then they brought one to Orlando, like we'd still probably want to go to the UK every once in a while if that was like the premier one. But in years where we can't afford to, we would just go to the one that's in our backyard.
Yeah. Wait. You've been keeping that a secret, man. I didn't know we had one in our backyard. What is it called? The Hondo House?
Yeah, I would love to do HHN with the UK weather.
That would be cool.
That was like one of the number one reasons why like we always want to go back to Hollywood for HHN is just the weather. So nice.
Oh yeah, the weather was amazing. We went like late September, early October. That is so prime. That's so prime. The weather here sucks. It's just so humid. It really does. It's so humid, so hot. It's just mean. The weather here is just mean.
Especially that time of the year.
It makes everybody mean and angry. And like we're here in the house. The AC's just always cranking. I get dressed. I get into the car and I'm already just miserable. I'm sweating, miserable. We're driving there. And about the time we get to Universal, the AC's kicked in enough where I stop sweating just in time to get out. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, summertime, when it's hot and humid, if you park in the parking garage, our luck is always ET. We always park in ET at the very back. I don't know why our luck is always that, but every time we go to Universal, we always get put there. But walking through the garage, it feels like you're in the muffler in an exhaust pipe of a car. It is just terrible. And then you got to go through security. Then you got to walk through City Walk. And you finally get to the park just to realize to wait and stay and scream, you got to wait outside most of the time too. I know I'm going long on this. I'm just saying.
I think most of these people understand.
I don't know if you guys get it, but now they do. And that'll be in my upcoming book.
Lana said.
That's another. Is that too out to handle, Lana? Yeah.
I'm Lana. Said, really, I think it's hot in Hollywood. I would be cooked in Orlando. Yeah, we were wearing like pants and like long sleeves. In the Hollywood.
Middle of the day.
We were like, this is so nice.
It was like, there was a point in the middle of the day, I think it was like 78 to 82, and we were wearing our hoodies and pants.
No, I had a t-shirt on during when it was sunny out. But
yeah, you can take it off.
Once the sun went down, it was like, oh, I need a sweatshirt. I'm like freezing.
Yeah, and it was like, what, 60s, 50 some nights?
It was late September, right?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Cool. Did we have any other announcements? There was a lot this week.
Yeah, we could talk about more if we wanted to. However, I think this is a good stopping point because it's getting late. We do have a flight tomorrow, and maybe we have enough time.
No.
No?
No.
Then let's keep going. We got 20 more minutes.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do have one more thing we'll do before we call it a night in tonight's live. If you're just joining us, sorry. But what we're going to do is a rapid fire Q&A. We'll do a questionnaire section. It doesn't have to be rapid fire, but we'll let you guys go ahead and throw some questions our way. We'll answer them. We'll do a couple until we decide, hey, that's going to be it. We're going to be done because we're already an hour and a half into the live stream. It's only 9:48. But again, sorry, folks, we got to go because we have a flight tomorrow to go to New Jersey.
How did you know?
You are wiggling so much right now. You guys see the wiggle on this thing?
Watch out. Don't hit this.
Are you wiggling? You wiggling and waggling? We're not done. We're doing rapid fire Q&A. Do you have a question? Or do you want to answer a question? You knocked Jesus over. Hold up. I'm going to put him back. Okay, go over there. We'll get you in a second. Can you sit down or go lay down? That was a lot of wiggle. Go lay down.
All right, let's start the rapid fire.
Go lay down. We're going to do the rapid fire, then we'll bring you back. That was funny. He just like came up and just... Go ahead, sit down. Sit.
All right.
You can sit right there in the waiting room. Yeah, sit. Just sit. Trust me. There you go. Yeah, good. See?
All right, go ahead and put your questions in.
All right.
We'll start answering them. Would a Jack the Ripper house be in bad taste for the UK? Like, is that like making a Dahmer house? Which I think, in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't know. But I think what Joey Mayo said makes sense. And they said, no, there's no people alive who knew the people Jack the Ripper murdered. But you can't say the same for Dahmer, which I do think that makes sense. Like, there's almost like a statute of limitations where, like, that was so long ago that, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah. I mean, we did have kind of a Jack the Ripper style themed in the tribute store recently.
Yes, and there is a Jack the Ripper show at SeaWorld.
Yeah. This is from Javier. Steph, would you skip HHN if the event was all nautical themed?
No, I would still go, of course. I would definitely be like, okay, whatever.
I bet you that I can come up with a concept for a house and build a nautical themed house that you would love.
I don't know.
I bet you. I bet you a 10-minute back scratch.
Also, Fungi said try the Taylor ham in New Jersey, apparently.
Okay.
I
Fine.
really want...
Don't tell me what to do.
I really want a good bagel.
I'm
I've been
excited
craving
for
a
us
bagel,
to...
and they have really good bagels in New York, and we're right
close
over,
to New York.
like right over the bridge from like Queens.
We're close to New York.
So I want a good New York bagel.
I forgot we need to get a reservation for a restaurant that night.
We'll see.
I just want a burger. You've been having me think of burgers a lot. That's all she's been talking about. Okay, next question. I got this one. Steph, when is the time for Halloween nails?
Ooh. I feel like I tend to get mine like right before opening night.
So last night.
And then that set will typically last me like 2-3 weeks. So then like I'll stick with the Halloween theme until November.
Yeah. Another question here from Dor saying, what's Orlando's weather like in October? This is my first HHN.
Hot and humid.
October is an entire month. There's multiple days. So are you coming in early October, middle October, or late October? It depends. Early October, it's hot.
Yes. We tend to get like a week maybe or a few days in there where it's not
2 weeks,
where it's not hot and it actually is kind of chilly, at least for us. So check as it gets closer because it could change.
So if you're in the middle of October, more than likely it's still going to be warm. But by the end of October, and it depends on our hurricane season, because sometimes we can get hurricanes that do change the humidity levels for us. But later in October, usually by the 22nd onward, you get a couple of nights in there that are in the 70s, 60s. Mm-hmm. And then you have some days that like it'll be like 80s and stuff. So it's like it's doable. But we've had nights and days too where like the high is 78 and the low is like 61. And those are the days that you're like, oh man, like I can finally pull out the sweatshirt that I've had.
And then the next day it'll be hot. So that's why I was saying like double check, like bring some layers. We actually have a lot of questions. Let's try.
That's all you, girl.
Rapid fire.
Next one.
What icon would you want to show up in the UK aside from Jack and Fear?
And I want a new one. I would like a new one.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely would love to see each Horror Nights
have their
location
own.
have their own icon, their own story.
I agree.
And then if Horror Nights wanted to become very ballsy and whatever, they can then clash the stories all together. But then that makes people feel like if all the stories somehow are one story, but based on their different regions, you want to go see them all. You want to go experience that. I think that'd be cool.
Is the UK for sure getting Horror Nights?
No, that has not been announced, but I think it has been teased. I don't know if there was like a news channel or whatever that mentioned Horror Nights UK or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
But if Universal hasn't announced it, then
Is there a horror movie IP that hasn't been done yet that you'd absolutely love?
yeah,
Game of Thrones.
but that's not really horror IP.
Yeah, I guess not.
That's the true answer to be rapid fire would just be yes.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I know fans would love Scream. I know fans would love It. I think those two would be really cool that the fans would love to see.
I'm sure there's... So I want to see Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. What's another one? There's
I don't
one
know,
on the
but
top
this
of
is
my head.
rapid fire, so...
All right.
Do
You're
you
never
have
gonna
a
find out.
system for when y'all go to HHN in terms of when you do food, houses, rides, or do y'all just wing it? We typically just wing it. Maybe like opening night, we'll have a little bit of a like idea of what we're gonna hit first and what we're gonna do. Especially if we're doing a video, like when we've done vlogs, we have a more of an idea of what we're trying to do. But for the most part, no, we just wing it.
So overall, right? Because we have the YouTube channel, obviously, you know, we did content before, right? But because we're locals, it's also very different for us. We usually have one night that we plan in the year that we're focusing just on food. So then as a local, it gives us, you know, by night 12, our 12th time going to the event, oh, this is going to be a different night because we're going to try all the food that we haven't tried yet. So it kind of makes it like it's a new
We did that
HHN.
because we would do a video. We would do a food video. I hate doing that because I get so sick afterwards.
All right, so confirmed. YouTube ends tonight, folks. This is the last thing we're doing.
I would
No
much
more
rather
YouTube.
I would much rather get one new food item like each night that we go rather than being like tonight's the food night because like my stomach can't handle
Again,
that.
Asking us, it's very different because our situation is very different.
But
than
when
a lot.
we're trying to do a video that's like this is the food video, obviously.
Yeah.
Is there a
hope
house
that helped.
location you miss they don't use anymore, like Men in Black tents?
Yes. Men in Black tent.
No, I don't miss the Men in Black tent. I miss the Shrek building.
I miss that too. I miss every location that we've had that used to have a house that doesn't anymore because that's another location for a house that we could have additionally.
A lot of people saying New Jersey has good bagels, so yes, we will need to get a bagel. Do you think Universal should have kept Rip Ride Rocket open
Yes.
until after HHN?
Absolutely,
Yes,
100%. If you could bring back an original house from the past, which would it be? Ooh, that's
Gothic,
hard.
just because I didn't get to see it and I want to see it.
Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. Gothic would be cool because we didn't get to do it. But at the same time, I want to say Slaughter Cinema, the first one, because I didn't get to do Slaughter Cinema.
That's a good one for you.
See, I would like to do that. But then again, like Wicked Growth, I'd love to see Wicked Growth. I'd love to see Icons come back. I think that'd be really cool. If you could pick one song for this year, what would it be? Are we talking about just like one song that we know of that we would want to be at this year's event, or a song that...
I want like Dracula's theme song.
Okay.
What is that? Fugue, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I want that playing through the park. Because it's like Gothic.
It's hard. Like, to be honest, you can look at the band Miro, or the artist Miro. He's got some stuff that's around that. Moon Vampire, they have some stuff that's around that. Crystal Castles, Pastel Ghosts, something around that. I would like pull out and start playing like some of the songs I have on my playlist and stuff, but I don't want to get copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
What would you think if HHN did all originals one year, no IPs? We've talked about this before, and we would love to see it.
They have in the past. They've done that before. when they never did IPs. But yeah, the way I would like this to happen is if they did an anniversary year where it was a throwback to all things HHN. It's a throwback to the fan favorites. So you get a year that is all originals, 10 haunted houses or maybe more, and you get the top houses of Halloween Horror Nights history. And what would be so cool is if Universal really locked in and actually did something that connected with the fans in the off season to really move creative minds forward. And like they said, and they did a huge survey, fan base, whatever, maybe like a show or something that could do this. But it'd be cool if they were like, out of all the 200 original haunted houses we've done at Halloween Horror Nights history, vote what is your top favorite original house of all time. And then the top 10 come back. You get things like Wicked Growth to come back, maybe Graveyard Games. Those are like recent years. Maybe like Jack Presents like back then too. Maybe Gothic comes back. You get like these fan favorite ones that have an opportunity because they're like voted. But of course the creatives can pick from that. I think that'd be really cool because even though as somebody who's gone, I know this is a longer answer, but I think it's an important question. Even somebody who has gone through Wicked Growth, I feel like those people would also, like myself, gone through Wicked Growth so many times, I wouldn't mind having it come back because it was such a good house. I want to have good houses. And it's been some time. But then also houses from like, 2010, 2004 that I never got to experience. I'm like, it would be cool to be able to experience those houses too for the first time. Missed the call. Bummer. It was Universal. Anyways, that was yeah. So yes. Anyways, next question, Steph. How did you get your BF percentage for the show?
How low? I don't know. I don't.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't track that.
It's like -2 right now.
I don't track body fat percentage. Some people just get it for fun, but we just go based off of the look.
Okay, we're gonna really rapid fire this now, right?
Oh,
okay.
Are you telling me?
No, both of us. I'm telling you mainly to tell me. Ready? Next one. Will the IPs this year have an overlay at the hotels?
I think FNAF will have a pop-up, but that's it.
We need the Command Bay experience back, and I think FNAF, yes.
You missed 90s it or 2020 it? 2020 for a house.
2020. Yeah, I'd say 2020.
The first one, not the second one.
I think we caught. Did we? Oh, in Orlando, do they keep the houses open when it rains?
Yes, unless they get flooded.
Yes. All the houses are indoors. So it's usually never an issue, but sometimes our tent houses, like sprung tents, we get heavy rain here. Sometimes they can flood, so they'll shut it down. Is Unmasked the top house from HHN history? I think it's a good house. I don't know if it's a top because there's so many houses. What do you consider to be top?
Yeah, that's hard.
Are we talking like top 10 of all time? Are we talking about the top 20%? It's another question. Let's see. I have a serious question. Is Stranger Things coming this year?
Yes.
They are, but on Netflix. I hope you're happy. I wasn't going to read it, but I did. If you had a one night HHN time machine, which year from the 90s would you choose?
The first night.
I was going to say the first night would have been really cool to experience. Just because it was like the first time they ever tried this. That would be cool. There were some years that they had parades.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was the first year though. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But there were years in the 90s that they had parades that were HHN.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool to also. Could you imagine like having an HHN parade?
I was just gonna say I'm glad that they don't do that anymore because like that's not really the vibe. I'd rather have a scare zone there.
I mean, yeah.
But it is it's interesting. It's kind of cool that they did do it. But yeah, I think I would go back to the very first night just to see what it was like.
When it was just like one house.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Trying to go through quick. I'm catching up.
Any Lagoon show talk? Nothing new since the last time we talked about it, which I think was Tuesday. Last Tuesday. We said like that lighting truss is there. We don't know if that's...
Monday we had the construction video that went out where we showed that. Tuesday we had the live stream. We talked about it a bit, but we also talked about Friday, the Friday before that, the Spooky Empire panel where Mike Aiello kind of walked around the word shows, the plural usage of show. So potentially, but nothing. I haven't seen anything yet. So I think we caught up. Oh, last question right here. This last question. I have a yes or no question. On a scale of 1 to 10, why was Chucky kill count so terrible? Yes.
I was going to say, why was it terrible is not a yes or no question, but also on a scale of 1 to 10. 10.
I genuinely, in my opinion, I felt like Chucky kill count was a problem with the location. I don't think they had the location figured out with it being in Fast and Furious location.
It was so weird because in Hollywood it was good.
Yeah. Again, that break killed it for me a little bit. They had that break in the middle, which kind of killed it for me. The story that was happening in the second half of the house compared to the first half of the house just kind of felt separate. And there were just some moments to be honest, also it's Chucky, guys. Like Chucky's not scary. He's not. So
it was so much better in Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood was nice. Okay, there's two more. I'm just gonna bring them up. Bill and Ted or Nightmare Fuel. Never watched Bill and Ted.
Yeah, can't really
give it
accurately answer that.
But what I would say is Nightmare Fuel's great, sort of whole thing, but Bill and Ted was so cool too. I want something new. I want a dark magic
Beetlejuice Graveyard Review.
Yeah,
that's my answer.
With the animal actors on stage. I'd love that. Do you think we'll ever get a Universal Monsters house focused on one monster like Dracula Legacy and Blood or Frankenstein Creation of the Damned? Yes, I do. I think it'll be a long time from now. Or if anything, Hollywood would pick it up. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the longest rapid fire. 3 weeks in a row. We're breaking records.
Getting longer and longer.
I used to have a timer that was set on it, and I do have the timer. I don't click it because remember, I think the first time we did it, I put the timer up, but people had to ask questions, so like 2 minutes came off.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get that more rapid. So, anyways, that's gonna do it for us in the live. We were only supposed to do this for an hour. It's an hour and 48 minutes.
It always happens that way.
She's going to tell me later after the live stream all about it. So I'm excited to hear about it. Excited. Anyways,
you're the one who can't sleep on flights. I can sleep on a plane easily.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't sleep anyways.
That's true.
But folks, we got to get going. We have a big weekend coming up because Stephanie on the 4th of July is going on the stage, doing her stuff. And I got the dad bod competition coming up, which I'm about to rock it. I'm doing the hot dog eating competition on the 4th of July, so be sure to watch that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in on a Tuesday evening live stream. We're going to be gone this weekend, so obviously no content is going to be coming out from us this weekend, but we should be getting back around Saturday or Sunday, and that's when we'll talk about when our next live stream will be, when our next video will be, and what we'll do is we'll end up letting you guys know. We'll either on Discord, Instagram, YouTube, we'll give you guys all that information and updates so you guys can keep a lookout for our content. And the best way to do so is if you guys follow us on YouTube, the little bell icon, click it, set your notifications on, because then you'll be alerted when we do post our next video, next live stream post, whatever that may be. So with that being said, boys, come on over here. Make the appearance. Say goodnight to everybody. Tell them you hate them. Yeah, you're crazy. You're freaking crazy, man. You're crazy. Halloween Horror Nights 30. It's going to have a Hondo Nico house. Get ready, guys.
All right, good night, guys.
All right, love you guys. Good night. Love you, Mom. Good night. See you guys.
Bye.